I do a lot of videos on chalk painting, but this particular dresser I painted in semi-gloss, in a white semi-gloss. It's been up for sale, like I usually sell my dressers, for like 3 months and nobody has bought it. So I'm going to take this semi-gloss paint, which is the old school way of doing things, and I'm going to distress it like it is chalk paint and see what happens. I'm using 120 grit sandpaper. If you haven't done a lot of this, I would go with a higher grit, maybe a 180 to a 240, until you know what, if you're using an electric sander, what exactly it's going to do. The best thing about this to me is that if you go to a thrift store or garage sale and you find a piece of furniture that's already been painted and it's got scratches and nicks, if you take it home and sand it, no matter what kind of paint it's on there, it will be distressed and then it will look pretty close to as if you had just redone the whole thing in chalk paint and waxed it. I also know a lot of people are still fans of the old school paint, but you may want to still distress your furniture. So this is something you can do. I did this dresser the old school way and decided to go back and distress it. So it's pulling the colors that the dresser has been painted in the past, and it will end up being a really nice looking distressed dresser. I am sanding all the edges in particular, and I'm also sanding all the flat surfaces, which you will need to do because the paint will be shiny. So you have to sand it to get some of that shine off of there. Once this is sanded, it will still have all of the protection properties from the semi-gloss latex paint. So you don't have to seal it or do anything to it. You can just sand it and it's done. It took me about 12 minutes to sand this entire dresser this way. You do not have to use an electric sander to do this. You can use just plain old sandpaper, you can use a sanding block or a hand sander, or you can use a paint scraper. I did the top part of the dresser and I left the bottom part so you can see the difference. This is the semi-gloss paint. This is what it looks like when it's distressed. It looks pretty much just like chalk paint to me. The cool thing about this is that the semi-gloss does not need a top coat, so if you do this, you are done. You don't have to do anything else besides sand it. These are the final pictures of what the dresser looks like when I was done. Funny that it took me 3 months to try to sell this when it was painted semi-gloss, and it sold the same day when it was distressed. So I think this worked out pretty well. This is another example of this technique. I bought this dresser at a thrift store and came home and sanded it, and these are the colors that I got. This is my favorite piece I ever used this technique on. This had oil-based paint on it, and as you can see, it distresses just the same as the latex paint does. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and check back often. I put up new videos all the time. Also, if there's something you want to see a video on, send me a message and maybe I will do it. Thank you.